Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the PodUp with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. PodUp, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
With Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We got a good show lined up for you today. We're going to bring in one of those enemies from another university. Big Leon Searcy will be joining us here shortly on the Titan More Hotline. Second portion of the program, we have another Jacksonville connection, Dan Hicken, talking Jaguars and Gators football. But first, let's go to the Titan More Hotline, and we're joined by University of Miami All-American and Hall of Famer, Big Leon Searcy. How are you, Leon?
Great. How about you, Shane?
Doing well. You're my third Hurricane on my show since
really?
I started. Yeah, I had Lamar Thomas and Michael Barrow.
All right.
So you're
great ones.
Yep, you're the third Hurricane. So let's go back to your younger days. You went to high school in Orlando. Mm-hmm. Were you strictly just a big old football player? Did you play any other sports growing up?
No, well, I grew up playing street ball. I mean, I was born in Washington, D.C., but in Orlando, I just played street ball. I was a little bit, to be quite honest with you, intimidated to play organized football because I had a bad experience when I was a kid. I had a very bad experience when in the kid. I would tell you what it was, but I'm going to let you wait to get to the book before you to inspire you. But I just had a traumatizing childhood, with organized football. And, when I went to Evans High School, my mom was a teacher. So my mom knew that in middle school I was a slacker, so to say. I was kind of a class clown. I would just barely get by, but she knew that I had abilities, and she knew I loved sports. So she basically told me going to high school that I couldn't play sports till I had a 3.0. So you can only imagine in high school, I'm one of the biggest kids in high school not playing any ball, so you get no attention from the ladies. Trust me.
And that damn football coach was beating on your door every day, following you in the hallway, want to know why you're not playing football.
It's funny you said that. The high school coach my high school coach named Bill Gerke, he actually discovered me playing basketball in the gym, and he thought I was a new student there. And I told him, no, I'll be a senior next year. And he was like, wait a minute, you'll be a senior next year? You've never played football at Evans High School? And I said, no, sir. He said, well, you're coming out for spring. And that was that.
So you only played 1 year of high school ball,
yeah,
and you ended up going to the University of Miami. What other schools recruited you, and did you take visits to everywhere else, or did you want to be a Miami Hurricane?
Well, I mean, because I had the grades along with the talent, I was recruited by all three Florida schools: Florida State, Miami. I was recruited by LSU, Clemson, Georgia, Auburn, and somebody else, maybe Notre Dame, because I was big. I was a diamond in the rough. Only played 1 year. But I had a hell of a 1 year, and I had the grades to go to school.
So you go to Miami, and obviously, you win 3 national titles. That's crazy. In 1987, 89, and 91. Of those 3 teams, which one was the best?
The best team to ever play at Miami didn't win a national title. It was 1986 team. But if you want to pick the best, 1987, 89, and 91, probably the 87 team. The 87 team is probably the better team, because the year before, they had lost to Penn State in the national championship game. So this was kind of a redemption tour for them. And they still had a lot of amazing talent. So that 87 team was definitely better.
Talk a little bit about what it was like. Gosh, those teams you just mentioned were phenomenal, loaded with so much talent. Mm-hmm. Just talk, your practices, because y'all were in the Big East back then, right?
No, we were independent. We got in the Big East in 91.
Okay, so you're independent. So I don't want to, you played some good teams, but you didn't play week in and week out tough opponents. Your practices had to be much, much harder than the damn football games, right?
Oh, absolutely. I tell people this all the time, that our defense whipped me into the lineman that I was, because I absolutely hated our defense. And they were one of the better defenses in the country. And they used to kick our ass every day in practice. So by the time we got to the games on Saturday, it was easy, because we were never going to have to go up against a defense like that. So that actually molded me into the player that I was. And there was a certain sense of accountability in the locker room where if you were dropping balls, like Michael Irvin, if you were a wide receiver, you were dropping balls in practice, you would get leaped on. And when I say leaped on, I mean they would fight you and tell you drop another ball or miss another tackle or fumble another ball. So it was a lot of pressure to perform in practice that just kind of translated over into the games on Saturday.
Yeah, we're speaking with big Leon Searcy here on the Titan Memorial Hotline, former Miami Hurricane. So you go back to your Miami days. I think I read a tweet somewhere. I was following you on Twitter talking about Miami's practice or some screen. Maybe it was in the spring or whatever, but you talked about how one spring y'all scored, one touchdown against your defense the entire time?
Yeah, 1989, we had 3 scrimmages. All right, and it was the last scrimmage of the spring ball. It was the final scrimmage, and we had scrimmage two times before. And our offense could not score on our defense. And this was back in the day where you started way back at the 10 and you had to drive first downs and score. And our defense took a lot of pride in shutting us out. And that was Dennis Erickson's first year because Jimmy had 11. Erickson came in and he brought his offense in. So the last scrimmage, first drive, we go down, we score a touchdown. The whole offense runs in the end zone. And people were like, what are they doing? And we're celebrating because we finally scored a touchdown on our damn defense. That's why we were celebrating. They were that our defense. Listen, anytime you got Russell Merlin and Cortez Kennedy to go up against every day in practice, it's going to be tough.
No doubt about it. Who would you say, what game stands out the most in your mind, the memories of that game in your career at Miami?
Well, I think my coming of age game was probably in 1989. 1989 was the first year I started, and I was still kind of getting my feet wet, as a starter. But the game we played against Notre Dame when they came down to Miami, when they were number 1, we were number 7, and we beat them 27-10. When I go back and watch that film, I had an outstanding game. That was my coming to being somewhat of a star at Miami after that game. Now, we went on to win a national title that year. We beat Alabama. But that game, I remember vividly that, I played with a lot of toughness and confidence that kind of, snowballed my career.
Yeah, what do you think about that that Alabama team y'all beat for the national title? We had them on the ropes in that SEC championship game. That's the game you're referring to, right?
Yeah, in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, the Sugar Bowl. The play that stands out in my mind is when y'all lost to Alabama in that game, right?
No.
Graduated.
No. We in '89, the only game we lost to was Florida State in Tallahassee, 24-10.
Right.
And then we played Alabama. We were number 2. Alabama was number 7, and we beat Alabama. And Auburn lost to somebody we won the title.
Yeah, I'm getting confused because you're
about the '92 season.
Yeah, you were already in the pros.
Yeah, I was in the pros. Yeah,
I get confused there. So as you mentioned, in your college days, your practices going against Russell Merlin and that crew just was living hell basically every day in practice. Is there a guy that you faced in college that gave you fits, a defensive player?
Only on our practice field. Greg Mark. I used to hate Greg Mark. Greg Mark was a perennial All-American that I had to go up against every day in practice, not only in practice, but in one-on-one drills. And we literally hated each other because he was physical, I was physical. We got in a couple of fist fights, but we both made each other better. But no one I can think of collegiately. Well, I tell you what, Marvin Jones was pretty special at Florida State.
Oh, yeah, he was a good one. He was a good one.
Marvin Jones was special at Florida State. I remember him being tough. But as far as defensive tackles, Dan Footman wasn't bad. I played against him at Florida State. Wasn't bad. See, I wouldn't say a Florida player, but we never played y'all.
Right.
Because y'all took off the schedule for whatever reason. I don't know why.
I didn't have nothing to do with that.
I'm messing with you.
Refresh your vehicle and your brand with a vehicle wrap from WrapSpot. August is your lucky month at WrapSpot. Mention promo code Shane and receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. We're speaking with Leon Searcy here, All-American from the Miami Hurricanes. You can follow him on Twitter at Searcy _Leon. So you get drafted first round by the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the great franchises in the National Football League. What was it like playing for Pittsburgh?
Well, I love playing for Pittsburgh. I loved the college surroundings of being a Steeler. I mean, it was like, Pittsburgh. The Steelers was all that Pittsburgh really. I'm not gonna say all they really had, but they promoted them, and it was a college environment. With the terrible towels and the tailgating and all that kind of stuff. So I absolutely love playing for the Steelers. I love playing for Bill Cowher. I was his first ever pick as a head coach, and I love my teammates. I think that we were tough nosed, hard hat, bring your lunch pail. We ran we ran a lot of. I think it played to my strengths. Ron Earhart was our offensive coordinator, and we ran a lot of traps and counters and pulling and all that kind of stuff. So it played right into my aggressive nature as a football player.
Yeah, you won a lot of games with the Steelers. You ended up going and playing for the Jaguars. Talk a little bit about what it was like playing with like Tony Baselli, Mark Brunell, and that crew.
Well, you know what? I tell these guys all the time now, and even I tell some of my Steeler friends that I didn't appreciate their greatness until I stopped playing. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm in the locker room with Greg Lloyd, Kevin Green, Rod Woodson, Carnell Lake, locker room with Tony Baselli, Mark Brunell, Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardell. I mean, you kind of take it for granted because you're their teammates and you're on the field, or you're on the field watching them, or you're on the field with them playing. And when they make a play, you congratulate them, and you really don't appreciate it that much until, 5-10 years, you look back at the film, and you're like, damn, Jimmy Smith was legit. Yeah. Or Baselli, Bruiser, or, Fred Taylor. Man, Fred was like lightning in a bottle. So I tell those guys all the time now that I was blessed to have played with such great, not only great football players, but great men.
Yeah, talk a little bit about, because you blocked for Jerome Bettis, who's an unbelievable running back, and you blocked for Fred Taylor. A lot of us Gator fans, we love Fred. I think he's the most dynamic running back we ever had here. Obviously, we had Emmett, but Fred was a different level, in my opinion. Do you think Fred deserves to be in the Hall of Fame with his numbers? If he wasn't a Jaguar his entire, he played a little bit with the Patriots, but if he had played in a bigger market, say Pittsburgh, do you think he'd be in the Hall of Fame right now?
It shouldn't matter. Fred Taylor deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
At this point blank. He is one of the most, Jim Brown even said it. Jim Brown cited on TV that Fred Taylor is one of the most dynamic running backs he's ever seen run in history. So, that quote alone should give you walking papers to the Hall of Fame. But the funny story about Fred Taylor is I remember the first time we scrimmaged our defense in the actual stadium. We had a scrimmage, and Fred was a rookie, and we had a zone play where we stretched it to the right and bent back to the left. And Fred took the ball, took it to the right, bent back to the left, and the linebackers, the corners, and the safeties had angles on them, and he hit it for 80 yards. And me and Baselli looked at each other like, oh, yeah, we got us one now. We got us one. We got us one. So that was the first time I really had my Fred Taylor moment when we had a scrimmage against our defense, and he just ran past all of them.
Talk about Baselli. So many people that played the position of the offensive line and that critique offensive linemen talk about how great he was. His career, because of injuries, was cut short. Mm-hmm. How good was Baselli?
Well, I was fortunate enough to play with him and watch him and play across from him. And Baselli didn't just want to block you. Baselli wanted to annihilate you. He really did. He really took his pass protection and run his coming off the ball personal against the guy he was playing against. And I love that. I played right up my alley. And that's why we had so much success as a tandem, because he was gritty and nasty. Now, he might come across as Wonder Boy off the field, with pretty blonde locks and all that kind of stuff. But when he's on the field, he gets it done. He gets it done. He does. You ever watch that Miami Dolphin Monday Night Football game when he was going against Jason Taylor? Please watch that.
I remember that, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. And then Jason Taylor thought he was going to come over my side and get something from me. And I said, listen, bro, I said, whatever he's giving you over there, you're going to get that over here. So I said, I don't matter. But yeah, but Sully, I love playing with Sully. He is, I wouldn't say he's the second best offensive lineman I ever played with. The first is DeMonty Dawson.
Oh, yeah, he's a good one, no doubt about it. So talking about Jason Taylor, great pass rushers. Who is that one guy, man? You look at the schedule, you're in game prep, and you're like, damn, I can't sleep tonight because this guy can get after the passer. You know, that one guy that gives you fits year in and year out. Who was it?
Reggie White.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No
Yeah,
doubt.
when I was in Pittsburgh, I had to go up against Reggie White. It was the last game of the season. We had to play the Green Bay. We had already locked up the number 2 seed. And, Bill Cowher is giving us he's giving us the breakdown of who we're going up against. And my teammates, you thought, would be supportive of me. But I go in the locker room, they're screaming, Reggie, all week long, right? So we get to Thursday, and Coach Cowher's like, Leon, I think I'm going to sit you and not play you because, we've already. I said, hell no, Coach. I said, I said, my teammates been calling me out all week long, and now you want to sit me? I said, that's not going to happen. I said, if I got to take a beating, I got to take a beating. But I said, I'm going to go up against Reggie White. And I went up against Reggie White in Green Bay in the frozen tundra. We lost 24-19. Jens Thigpen dropped a touchdown in the back of the end zone. But I held Reggie to no sacks. He had 5 tackles, no sacks.
That's a good day anytime he doesn't have a sack.
But I had the fear of God in me the night before. I'm going to lie.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So is there one game, we talked about your college career, the one game that stood out in your mind. Is there one that brings back great memories for you as whether it was a Steeler or a Jaguar?
One great game is a Steeler or a Jaguar. That game in 96. 96 when we were, I call us a band of misfit dolls. We had all kind of just different guys on the team, and we made that run in the playoffs where we beat the number 1 seed Denver Broncos in Mile High Stadium. I remember it. I remember the game, but I remember the response from the fans after we had won the game when we landed in the airport. And we're going on the buses, and the fans are pulling along the sideway, honking their horns at 2 o'clock in the morning. And then we're on the bus, and we think we're going home. And Tom Coughlin tells us, "Hey, there's 40,000 fans at the stadium right now that want to cheer y'all on after y'all won that game." And when we walked in the stadium, I mean, it was electric. The lights were on, the fans were screaming, they were loud. We were in the AFC Championship game. We had pulled off our second upset, and it was just an amazing feeling to have won that game and give this to our fan base. And I will never forget that feeling.
That's awesome. We're speaking with Leon Searcy here on the Titan More Hotline. He's an All-Pro and a University of Miami Hall of Famer. So now football's over. You're dabbling with some radio in Jacksonville, 1010 XL with those boys up there. But you also got the Leon Searcy All-Pro cigars coming out. Tell us about that.
Well, I'm an avid cigar smoker. I enjoy a nice cigar. I enjoy the conversation of sitting down with good friends, smoking a cigar, having a drink. So I've been an avid cigar smoker for like 5 years now. And a good friend of mine is in Miami. His name is Alex Menendez. He owns his own company. He has a plant in Nicaragua. We met at the tailgate in Miami. And he actually prefaced the idea about, me opening up having my own cigar line. And we went with it. We're going to use his blends. We already came up with a nice logo and sticker. So we'll have those cigars out, the boxes, and within the next 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. But I'm excited. It's Leon Searcy All-Pro Series cigars.
That's cool. You also have a book coming out called Fourth Down and Damn, a Lineman Story. Tell us what that's about.
Well,
but maybe you don't want to give it away. But
yeah, I was going to give it all away, but no. The book was very therapeutical for me, and it was when I was in a dark place, and I woke up like 2:30 in the morning, and it was just something that said, tell your story, And I grabbed a pen, a piece of paper, and I grabbed a tape recorder, and I just went to work. It's been like a 10-year project. I've had ghostwriters. I've had people that wanted to publish, didn't want to publish, ghostwriters here, ghostwriters drop off. But now I finally found the right marketing people, and they're going to market the book for me and get it published, and we're going to start selling it. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I've gone through the book. I like the way it's been written. It's got pictures in it. I'm telling a lot of great stories from my time growing up. Growing up in D.C., growing up in Orlando, University of Miami, Jaguars, Steelers, on the field stuff, off the field stuff. It's not rated G for sure. I'm telling you, I had to be authentic, and I had to open up a bit and tell the true story about my life. And I think it's going to inspire you. You're going to maybe cry a little. You're going to be mad as hell at me. You're going to cuss me out. But when it's all said and done, I think it's going to be a very enjoyable book to read.
What is there? Do you know how people can buy it yet?
Well, right now we're putting that stuff in the process. We're going Amazon, Kindle, all that kind of stuff. So we're doing the finishing touches up on it now, but we'll have it done within the next 30 days.
All right. At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today. 352-244-0840. A few more minutes here with Leon Searcy, Miami Hurricane great. I got to ask you this. All those great teams y'all had at Miami, y'all ever have like reunions, get-togethers, or what?
Yeah, we have reunions every year. A lot of guys come back and lie and tell you how great they were, and I'll be like, no, I don't remember that. But we have a lot of fun. We get together. What we do is we do reunions. We did reunions every 10, 20 years for my 3 championships. So the 20-year anniversary of the 01 team is coming up next year, which is going to coincide with the 91 teams, because that'll be our 30th year. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of banter between the two, because both teams think they were better. 01 team was better. I probably won't say that in front of the guys, but they were better. But we still think we would have beat them.
So I got to ask you this question: when's Miami going to be back? They come back this year?
I've been hearing that for so long. Miami's going to be back when they start doing what Alabama and Clemson are doing. That's when they'll be back. When they start winning multiple national championships and competing for multiple national championships year in and year out. I don't want to hear about this Miami trying to be back. Miami will be back when they start acting like the big boys. And right now, hopefully Manny Diaz is putting them in the right position. But until you're competing for championships every year, you just not Miami. They won't be back. And that's what we did when we were there. Every year we were in the hunt. We were in the hunt for national championships for over a decade and a half. So when they do that, then come talk to me about Miami being back.
All right, there you go. Leon, last thing for you. The state of football right now, I mean, it's this COVID thing. It's crazy. You're there in Jacksonville. What are you hearing from the players, the NFL players? Because I haven't seen a whole lot of publication, a whole lot on TV about NFL training camps. I know they've changed a lot because there's not a whole lot of hitting and this, that, and the other. But what's going on with the Jaguars right now? They got a chance to be decent this year?
Well, they've got a chance. Everybody looks good on paper. Everybody's winning in the offseason. Everybody's undefeated offseason. But they're young. They're just young. I mean, and they're young, and you haven't had any offseason for them. You've had no OTAs. You've had no mini camps. You have no rookie camps. Training camp is watered down, and you're expecting 7 draft pick rookies and 7 undrafted free agents to just walk in the door in the NFL and compete at the highest level. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They need time to grow and flourish, and unfortunately, they're not going to be given that task. I think Gardner Minshew, unfortunately, he missed the off season. It's going to be one and done for Gardner. If Gardner goes this year and throws 30 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, and we still go 5-11, they might keep him. But if Gardner goes and struggle and this team loses a lot of games, they're going to take Trevor Lawrence next year, the first pick overall.
Yeah.
So,
What are your thoughts right now with college football? How in the Power Five conferences, obviously the Big Ten and Pac-12 are sitting it out. They cancel football. ACC, 12, and SEC are going to plug away. What are your thoughts about? Do you think they should be playing, or do you like what the Big Ten and Pac-12 did?
no, I like the fact that the ACC, the SEC, and the Big 12 came out with schedules. And no one knows how effective they're going to be, but they're moving forward. They're practicing. They're preparing like they're going to play football. And unfortunately for the Big Ten and the Pac-12, or the Big Ten and the Pac-12, is if these three teams, these three leagues go on and have success and play ball, it's going to be used against them in recruiting. And it's going to be used against them in recruiting. If they go on and these teams go and have the success of playing a 6 to 8 to 10 game schedule. Now there's going to be concerns, but if the guys just need to pause and keep it moving. So and the players, how disheartening is it going to be if you're a kid at Penn State and it's your senior year and you're watching all the other conferences play football and you have to miss it. That's going to be heart-wrenching.
And what's crazy is I saw today where the state of Ohio is going to be playing high school football, but they're not going to be playing college football. They're going to be playing pro ball and high school ball, but not college ball. Leon, we appreciate you joining the show. Let everybody know if they're tuned in over in Jacksonville, how they can listen to you on the air.
Okay, I'm on 1010XL 92.5 FM, the flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm on every day from 12 to 3 o'clock. It's called Lunch with Leon, with my guys Joe C., Hacker to Ryan Green, and Matt Hayes of the Bleacher Report.
Good stuff, man. Good luck with the cigars. Good luck with the book. I'll definitely want to check that out. And good luck to your Hurricanes this year. And we'll be talking to you soon, Leon.
All right, appreciate you, Shane.
Yes, sir. That's Leon Searcy. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. We come back. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll be joined by Dan Hicken. Talk a little Gators and Jaguars as well. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning, Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
Hey Gators, this is Coach Steve Spurrier. PodUp with Matthews in the Morning. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Area Rug Masters, your number one choice in Gainesville for all your area rug cleaning services. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Celebration Point Town Center, The Digital Mortgage Guy, Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Center State Bank, Gator Bait Media, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Miapa Latin Cafe, Gators Dockside, Okido America Martial Arts and After School, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker MM Parish, Radware, Style Cuts, Wrap Spot, Ironwood Golf Course, TB Financial, Chris Doring Mortgage, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Darshakau Insurance, Pomodoro Cafe, MB Listings, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Cornerstone Financial Group, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Master, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Chick-fil-A on Archer Road, Aver and Smith, Personal Injury Attorneys, and Gainesville Neon and Signs. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, podupwithshane.com, and click the advertise button or call Freddie at 352-284-3733. Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to this Friday edition of PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. I want to thank Big Leon Searcy, old Hurricane, joining the program. Now we're going to go to another guy in the Jacksonville area, our good friend Dan Hicken. Good morning, Dan. How are you?
Shane, how you doing? Good to be with you.
Doing great. Before we get talking sports, I need to know, how long can Dan Hicken tread water?
Well,
you know why I'm asking this question?
Why?
I have a great marketing group that does bios and promotes who's coming on the show.
Yeah.
And I heard that Dan Hicken was this all-state or all-county water polo dude down in Miami.
Well, that's because I wasn't a good enough athlete to play the sports that I loved, football, baseball, or basketball, and I wanted to do something, so I played water polo. And the one thing about water polo, Shane, is that with the swimmers aren't great eye-hand guys. And so if you get a ball in your hand, I could always at least kind of shoot it in the corner goal, shoot it from the side and get it in and beat the goalie. So that was the one thing I was good at. As far as what we used to do is called egg beaters, where you had to put your hands up and tread water. Try doing that for a while. That'll take a little effort. When you're when you're 16 and 17, you can do it for a while. Try doing it now, I would sink.
Yeah, that's impressive. Anyway, so you ended up coming to the University of Florida. Went to the journalism school. Did you always want to get into the broadcasting business?
Yeah, I mean, look, once I realized that I wasn't going to be, an NFL quarterback like some people we know, or even play at any level. I always loved sports for some reason. It wasn't like I was pushed into it. My dad was okay. My dad coached some high school football growing up. He was up in New York. He was a education guy, and so he coached along the way, but not a ton. And wasn't that involved in sports. But for whatever reason, I love sports, and so I said, let me try this. I think I could talk sports. I just followed it my whole life, so that's how I got into it. And I went to Florida with that in mind. It was good school, obviously, for broadcasting, and I went to Jacksonville and never left. It was great.
Celebration Point's where the Gators come to celebrate, with premium brands like Bass Pro Shop, Tommy Hilfiger, Hotel Indigo, Nike, Medici's, Regal Cinemas, and coming soon, the HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, and Visor's Rooftop Bar. We will see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators come to celebrate. We're going to talk about Spurrier here at the end of the show. But yeah, man, he's building a restaurant here. Going to have the bar up top, rooftop's going to be called Visor's. Very good.
Perfect. And can't wait. Is he going to be there daily? What's he going to do? Just rake in the cash?
Yeah, probably so. A lot of his memorabilia is going to be there, though. I know that for sure. So,
That's
Dan,
cool.
Let's talk about your thoughts, just what's going on in the sports world. Obviously, we have some sports back, at least the NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball, hockey, golf. We're big college football people.
Sure.
You think we get this season in?
I'm hopeful, man. I give Commissioner Sankey a lot of credit, man. He stood tall. I think he's made a lot of right decisions, trying to be patient. I think a lot of folks were very doubtful when this thing hit last spring. At first we thought, well, certainly it'll be gone by the fall. And as the summer evolved, it was like, oh my goodness, are we going to get to play? And I think he's done all the right things here. He's trying to make it as safe as possible. And for these kids, I know everybody has an opinion. I don't try to get too much. I respect everybody's opinion. But to me, the overwhelming thought is these kids want to play, right? All these kids want to play college football. You got an opportunity to play college football. You want to play college football. And if a couple opt out along the way, I understand that. And obviously coaches do as well. And but if they want to play and we can make it a safe environment, and they're probably safer there in that little bubble in Gainesville or Tuscaloosa or wherever than they would be elsewhere, I say give it a shot. Can we get through it? I hope so. I think so. As long as the narrative is, Shane, I think this is important. The one narrative has to be, listen, guys are going to get it. Guys are going to get the coronavirus as we go along. But when they get it, we take them out, we quarantine them, we get them away from the program. They get better, they come back, and we keep going. But if we have that narrative of if somebody gets sick, we're shutting it down, then we'll never get through it. But it seems like they're headed towards the direction of we're gonna get these 10 games in, which is great.
Yeah, we're speaking with Dan Hicken. You can follow him on Twitter at Dan Hicken. He's a TV star over in the Jacksonville area and also does radio on 1010 XL from 7 to 10 every morning?
Yeah, 7 to 10. Yeah. Show starts at 6, but I come in at 7 because
you got a special.
TV's too rough, bro. Can't stay up late, get up early. It's tough, Shane. Tough.
So let me ask you a question. Your thoughts on the Big Ten?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you got kids, you got some athletes in the house. If your kid was a member of a team in the Big Ten, would Dan Hicken be on that petition, and would you be going to Chicago tomorrow to the Big Ten office bitching and complaining?
Well, you know what? I have a kid who's in high school, And, he desperately wanted to play football, and he's only going into 10th grade. So he's just a youngster, but I know he wants to play. He played baseball all summer, and everybody did okay with that. These travel sports are going on right now. I mean, you see him out there. So, I would definitely want him to play. It really depends on the kind of situation. Now, I'll give you an example. We got a kid, Sean Wade, who's a corner from Jacksonville, plays at Ohio State. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you go look at the mock drafts next year, Sean Wade's, some will have him in the top 10, but certainly in the first round. Well, he's like sort of the next great corner at Ohio State, but he was behind two good ones last year who also were drafted. Okuda, who went to the Lions. So Sean played a lot of slot last year. So this year he was going to move outside and show what a tremendous athlete he is and get an opportunity. Well, all of a sudden that's been taken away from him. Now he's very calm about it. He doesn't want to transfer. He wants to play for Ohio State. So he's in a tough spot, but he's in a different story than saying maybe, a fifth-year senior, this is his last go-around, who desperately wants to play football. They play football because they love football. You love the game. They love their teammates. They love being around it. So I thought they were just a little bit premature. The ultimate irony, of course, with the Big Ten, Shane, is that the commissioner's son goes to Mississippi State.
Yeah, and his time ends. Yeah, it's crazy. If it was that, if your doctors tell you it's not safe for kids to play in your conference, but then you're letting your son, who plays for the Mississippi State Bulldogs, keep playing. It makes no sense.
Does not make a lot of sense on that one. So I would definitely, I'm definitely on the let them play, and they want to play. Again, the whole thing is sometimes some of these guys in the media, they keep bringing up this, this isn't professional, and they need to get paid, and how dare the schools. It's not. If you ask the kids want to play. 95% of them will sign up right now and go play.
Yeah, it's a once in a lifetime. You have that short window to play college football, and those are the guys that I've talked about it ever since this has happened on my show. You will never have an experience like college, and on being on a college football team, you live with these guys for 3, 4, 5 years. Mm-hmm. They're relationships you'll have the rest of your life.
Correct.
You go play professional ball, you have a handful of guys you'll keep in touch with, but it's a business. So, I hope the Big Ten changes their mind just for those kids' sake. Let's talk about the SEC schedule. Mm-hmm. Do you think the SEC will ever be able to go back to playing 8 games now with this 10-game schedule?
Listen, I am one of those guys who like Florida going to play west of the Mississippi. I'm one who likes them going to play. I want them to play Texas and Colorado and Cal and Arizona State, home and homes. I love that. I love that as a fan because I want to travel and go to those places, Utah. But I like the mix. So if you told me, well, we're going to add another conference game, we're going to play FSU, and we're going to keep one of those home and homes, it'd be tough, but I'm all for it. What we don't want to have is what we were going to have this year with Eastern Washington, South Alabama, and New Mexico State. We don't want those anymore.
We don't. And it's funny you bring that up because I've been beating the drum. We don't want those games, but as a former player, as a parent, as a former high school coach, kids have to go to those schools and play. And that's a great experience for them to come to the swamp.
Correct.
So like your son, for example, he may want to play big time college football, but he's either too short, whatever it is. Right. So you go play at a Samford or a South Alabama. That's those guys' lifelong dream is to play the Gators in the swamp. It's an experience they'll never experience. The fans don't want to see it, but I want to see it from that perspective, and I've talked about it countless of times on my show.
And I understand that, and that's a fair point. And I've talked to kids from Jacksonville who are doing exactly what you said, and they went to whatever school, even and the old joke was, Florida would play whoever, a team that wasn't obviously on their level, and just say, for example, South Alabama, and South Alabama kicks a field goal early, and you would always say, well, take a picture of that scoreboard and put it on your media guide, Yep. So, but for the kids, it's to be able to walk out there in front of 90,000 people. Imagine getting to play a quarterback at that, or a running back, or whatever. Sure, I get that part of it. And also, business-wise, those schools need those games. So it's a tough spot. But as a fan, give me, at Utah, give me FSU, and give me another conference game.
No, I agree. And then the other side of it is I remember those cupcake type games when I played. We loved them because we knew we could jump on somebody early.
Right.
And all the walk-ons who do the same exact blood, sweat, and tears as the starters do, that's when they get their time to shine. You know, our good friend Brady Akron, he finally got in a game and caught a wheel route against Akron, you know. That's his claim to fame. But so when you look at this schedule, who do you think is going to be playing in Atlanta?
That's a great question. I think, in the West, it's Alabama. And I mean, obviously, I think the winner of the Florida-Georgia game, you know, Florida's tough part of the schedule to me is up front, you know, with A&M and LSU. And clearly the SEC did some protecting of the upper tier teams, however they want to say it, you know, when those coaches got on. I understand them being a little miffed, some of those guys. But you know what? You're a first-year coach. Welcome to the SEC, buddy. That's the way it goes. So, listen. Everybody loves Florida. Everybody's getting excited about Florida. We've got to see how it goes. I think they got as good a chance as anybody in the East. That's all I can ask for, and I think it'll come down to Florida, Georgia. And if you told me right now, Dan, it'll come down to Florida, Georgia, I say I'll take my chances. chances. But I got to ask you a question.
Yeah,
I saw something about Kyle Trask the other day. The Pro Football Focus did a breakdown of all 130 quarterbacks. They ranked him 48th, which was low, and obviously, in my opinion, the statistic they went to is some sort of big play turnover differential. That, you know how analytics are now, right?
Oh yeah, and Pro Football Focus does a tremendous job. Boy, they study everything.
I mean, everything. And he had a -13 on it. And to put that in perspective, the next worst SEC quarterback last year had a -1. So basically, they're saying he kind of got lucky on a lot of throws, some big throws that could have been turnovers or intercepted or such. So I didn't necessarily see that. You watch him closely and you understand quarterback play better. And as long as I got you here, sorry everybody, but I want to hear Shane Matthews' view of Kyle Trask going into this year.
Well, it's hard to say there's 47 better starting quarterbacks in the country than him.
If you look at the 47 too, Shane, you would be like, that kid is not. No. I mean, you would definitely do that. So
yeah. So my assessment of Kyle is his story is phenomenal. If not for Joe Burrow, he would have been the talk of the country. He's accurate. He's smart. He's a great team player. I thought the way he's handled himself here has been outstanding. But to do what he did coming off the bench was remarkable. The only thing I would say from watching him from fundamentals, sometimes his feet get lazy. Now, he's a big dude now.
Right.
I mean, he's 6'5", 245, not the fastest guy in the world, but his feet are a little slow. But I think he's accurate. I think he makes good decisions. I think he hasn't played enough. Some of those mistakes that he's made probably are due to lack of experience. The one game that stood out to me is Auburn. He gave up some sacks by just holding the ball too long.
Right.
And we were turning the football over in our own backfield. Turnovers down the field usually don't hurt you. It's when guys are scooping and scoring that kill you. But no, I like Kyle Trask. Another reason why I hope we get the entire season in this year, he's earned the opportunity to lead this team as the starter. And we have as good a chance this year to make the 14 playoff. But I don't know how all the analytics, I know those guys do a great job, like I said, but no, to me, he's the best returning quarterback in the conference.
Yeah, that's what I think. I
mean, Kellen Mond has all this skill and all this, that, and the other, but he's got to win some games. And I think Kyle's got a chance to have a big year. I really do.
Well, good. I was just curious. I want to make sure I wasn't seeing what I thought I was seeing, but you kind of back that up.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So we got about 5 or 6 more minutes, Dan. Okay. I want to get your thoughts real quick on the Jags. Y'all cover the Jags. Is the NFL, well, I know the Jags aren't very good.
It's been a long 25 years, man.
Well, they had a good run with Brunell and Baselli and Fred Taylor and that crew.
That was in the 90s, Shane.
Yeah. Dang, it was that long ago, wasn't it? Do you like Gardner Minshew?
They are not good at all, and they're not, and the camp has not started out well. They brought in a kid, Al Woods from Seattle, big run stuffer, 330 pounds. He opted out. They signed this kid, Rodney Gunner, 26-year-old defensive lineman from Arizona, big kid to play the big defensive end position. They discover a heart ailment. He's got to retire. Those are two guys that they were going to start on a defensive line that last year, Shane, had 4 games in which they allowed more than 200 yards rushing.
Ooh.
And in one game, they allowed 198 to Derrick Henry in Tennessee. So they were terrible at stopping the run last year. They built this whole thing up this year, and they had to make some moves. They had to get younger. Calais is gone. Obviously, he's a great player and a great leader, and I hate seeing him go. I hope he does well in Baltimore. I know he'll do well in Baltimore. But they built this thing up with one goal, and that's stopping the run. I'm not sure they can stop the run. I hope CJ plays more like his second year at Florida. I know he's banged up a little bit last year, so we're excited to have him and see how he's able to do. Although if he got on Twitter last night and had some strange tweets going on. Just go review what he had to say. And then today today at practice he's out sick, so I don't know what's going on with him. But they have high expectations. But he's a rookie, and in week 1 he's going to go against the Colts' best receiver. He's the best cornerback on this team already. So it'll be challenging for this defense. I'm anxious to see what Minshew can do. But if the Jags are going to go win 5 games, honestly, I'd rather win none and draft Trevor Lawrence and see if we can get a true franchise guy and see what he can do. Everybody loves Gardner. He's a great story, Mississippi guy, and had to earn it all the way through. So we're rooting for him, but I just don't know if we got enough to help him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go back to college. I want to get your thoughts on what Dan Mullen has done in his 2 years here. Won 21 games, 2 major bowl victories. You've covered all the coaches around here. And before we let you go, we have to have a Coach Spurrier story from you. But your thoughts on what Dan's done with the program.
I think he's been tremendous. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't 100% hyped on Dan Mullen. I wouldn't, back then, we were all excited about Chip Kelly, and let's see what – and he would not have been a good fit. I give Scott Strickland credit. I know they met with him, whatever happened, but he would not have been the right fit for this Florida program. He's a different kind of cat. He's aloof. Dan Mullen is understood what this is, understands what it means to be a Gator. He is a Gator. He's kind of one of us, I think, and so – and then to come in and do what he's done and go to 2 bowl games, 2 Power 6 bowl games, and win 10 and 11 games, I give him all the credit in the world. Everybody nitpicks on the recruiting, and I get that, but I think he's taken steps to improve the recruiting. And obviously, game day, I don't know if there's anybody else I'd rather have than Dan Mullen calling ball plays. I mean, he's tremendous.
Yeah, I agree. I think recruiting will help once we have our football standalone facility. That's killing us. We're like
that's a good point. Yeah,
we're like the only Power 5 school in America that doesn't have one. But yeah, I wasn't quite sure on Dan either, but I knew he was a very good football coach because anytime you go and you take Mississippi State to a bowl game every year, you've been their head coach. Mm-hmm. You got to be doing something right.
That's right.
So, he's a phenomenal coach. You been keeping up with any of the hockey or NBA stuff going on?
I'm a New York Ranger fan. I'm not watching a ton of the playoffs, but I know the Rangers got the #1 pick. They won the lottery last week, and that means they're going to draft a kid who's they say is a generational talent, Shane. They liken him to Sid the Kid Crosby. So we got a good young team. So, I'm cool with the hockey. I enjoy the hockey. And the NBA has been, it's kind of fun if you're at home. You can click it on at 2 in the afternoon. You can click it on at 6 at night. You can click it on at 10 at night. Whatever time you want, it's kind of got a little March Madness feel to it. I sort of enjoy it, and it's been pretty good basketball in that bubble.
Yeah, and I know you're a big New York Mets fan, right?
Yeah, tough.
Yeah, it's not good, right?
No, it's not good. I don't have enough time. I could do a whole podcast with you about the New York Mets, but nobody wants to hear about that. But I do love Pete Alonso, and he's starting to heat up a little bit. He hit 2 home runs the other night in Miami, so and I think he's done a great job. Obviously, he hit 53 last year, so I'm excited about him being there for a while.
All right, before we let you go, you got to have a good dead ball coach story, right?
Oh yeah, well, always. One of my faves with Spurrier was Spurrier. Always wanted, like, if you're on his side, if you're one of, where are you from used to be one of his favorites, like And if you talk to him, he found out you went to Florida. Spurrier would always do a little extra for me. I felt like maybe he wasn't, but I felt like, so one year I had this idea. It was Tennessee week, Shane, which was a huge game. I don't remember what year it was. It was pretty early in the tenure. You might have been there. I don't remember. But anyway, and this is the old days. I can't do podcasts or just call them up and do, but I wanted to do like a one-on-one with Spurrier, but I couldn't come to Gainesville. I'll tell you how long ago it was. My then wife was expecting one of our children, so I couldn't go to Gainesville. So I had this idea of getting a satellite truck, putting it between the practice field and the locker room, so I know he's walking by. And I called Norm Carlson. I said, Norm, I know this is a big deal, a big favor, but could you have him just stop? It'll all be ready. Just has to plug in. I'll ask him 3 questions, and he'll go. We're doing this thing, and he's like, Norm did it, and Spurrier said he would do it, which was great. And so Spurrier comes along, plugs it in, and we do it. And I finish, and Spurrier, by the way, once he plugged in, you better be ready to go. So I made sure all my guys were ready. There can't be any technical difficulties. So we nail it, and I finish, and I'm like so grateful. I'm like, Coach, man, I really appreciate it. He said, Dan, he said, we ain't gonna do this sleep every week now. And he took the thing out, and off he went in the night. But I always loved him because he always would spend an extra minute with me or talk to me or whatever, talk about Jacksonville or anything like that. So he was one of a kind, obviously, as you know, and no one better than the old ball coach. No one better.
No doubt about it. Let everybody know, don't you and friends, you do a Gator podcast as well?
We do. All things orange and blue. You can get them on, I don't know all this situation. 1010xl.com will have all the information where you can see it. But yeah, we do that. We usually take that on Mondays once a week. So it's pretty fun, man. We just love college football still in Jacksonville. And if we can ever get the Jags going good, we'll be excited. But, we love coming down to the swamp still. And I got the 15-year-old. Loves my daughter graduated from Florida. My older son went to FSU. He's the black sheep of the family, but bad news for him is he got left out of the will, Shane. So he ain't getting anything.
No doubt. Well, Dan, hey, man, appreciate you taking time. Y'all stay safe in Jackson. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
You too, man. Always good to see you. Thanks, Shane.
As Dan Hicken join us on the Titan MR Hotline. Going to take our second time out of the program. When we come back, we'll wrap this thing up. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
Hey Gators, this is Coach Steve Spurrier. PodUp with Matthews in the Morning. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Area Rug Masters, your number one choice in Gainesville for all your area rug cleaning services. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Celebration Point Town Center, The Digital Mortgage Guy, Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Center State Bank, Gator Bait Media, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Miapa Latin Cafe, Gators Dockside, Okido America Martial Arts and After School, Doreen Weeby Realtor, Caldwell Banker MM Parish, Radware, Style Cuts, Wrap Spot, Ironwood Golf Course, TB Financial, Chris Doring Mortgage, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Darshakow Insurance, Pomodoro Cafe, MB Listings, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Cornerstone Financial Group, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Master, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Chick-fil-A on Archer Road, Aver and Smith, Personal Injury Attorneys, and Gainesville Neon and Signs. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, podupwithshane.com, and click the Advertise button or call Freddie at 352-284-3733. Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us. Welcome back to this Friday edition of PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Really want to thank Leon Searcy, All-American from Miami, joining the program, talking about his cigars, his book he's got coming out, and my good buddy Dan Hicken, who does a tremendous job on radio and TV in the Jacksonville area. This Day in Sports is brought to you by the best restoration, fires, hurricanes, or leaking pipes, whatever causes havoc in your home and business. Call the best at the best restoration, 352-353-0768. This Day in Sports, back in 2008, striker Carly Lloyd scores in extra time as the U.S. beats Brazil 1-0 to take the women's gold medal at the Beijing Olympics. That was in 2008. That's brought to you by the best restoration. Folks, make sure you tune in and follow us, like us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. I also want to tell you about, if I can find it, here it is right here. Don't forget, the deal is up and it is dang good. It's the Campus USA and Davis Chevrolet biggest sale of the year. They're going to put you in a new car between August 20th and August 23rd, the lowest interest rates of the year, a free $100 gift card, and no payments for 90 days. Valid all week at Davis Chevrolet. Our good folks at Davis Chevrolet, no doubt about it. Make sure, I'm going to give you the rundown of who we got on the show next week. Let me get my schedule here. I got all kinds of stuff on my desk here. Apologize. But we're going to have David Nelson and Brent Beard join us on Monday. On Tuesday, Coach Carl Franks, longtime assistant of Coach Spurrier, will join us along with our Tuesday guest, Buddy Martin. Chris Patrick, longtime trainer at the University of Florida, and Pat Dooley on Wednesday, the 26th. Then 27th, Sam McCorkle, former Gator football player, great player on special teams. Now the defense coordinator at Dartmouth University. We'll talk with him. And we'll talk with Josh Wilson, talking Florida high school sports. And we're going to wrap up next Friday with Steve McLean, longtime SID here at Florida, and Matt White, my buddy who played quarterback at Mississippi State, now does a ton of radio and podcasts in the state of Mississippi, talk about Mississippi State football. But that's going to be it today. Today's show is a wrap, brought to you by our good friends at Wrap Spot. Be safe out there. Have a tremendous weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Take care, folks.